You know, it's not often that we look at something from good old Robots in Disguise 2001. It's even more rarer that we get an update to any of those characters. Hopefully more will come sooner than later. Speaking of which, we're going to be looking today at this guy. It is the Buzzworthy Bumblebee Legacy Evolution Towline. And he's going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you are at it, light 'em up, baby! Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton and it'll let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that is in the description down below. Also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And this is the Buzzworthy Bumblebee iteration of Towline. It is very stylized. There's no doubt about it. Quite stylized. But does that make it good or bad? Or somewhere in between? We're about to find out when we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. And now, courtesy of the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line, Legacy Evolution, Deluxe Class Junkion. There's a whole lot of things you could say here, but at the end of the day, this is RiD 2000 they call it, but we usually call it RiD 2001. Whatever. Towline. And this was a really interesting and stylized version of Towline. Now, to be fair, we've looked at the transformation before. In fact, we looked at the Legacy Evolution Scraphook in episode 1048. So we've seen the transformation from robot to vehicle there. And we looked at axle grease in episode 1094, where we kind of showed the transformation going from vehicle back to robot. I know that axle grease is slightly different because instead of having a hook back here, she has like a couple of extra car pieces. But overall, the machinations and the motions that you do are exactly the same. So we'll kind of flip over that and go from like mode to mode. I'm starting out here in vehicle mode because you know what? Why not? I rarely start out in vehicle mode. But before we can look at the Towline, we have to look at the packaging first. And here we have Buzzworthy Bumblebee packaging. Towline on the front there. Over here, just the evergreen Buzzworthy type of stuff. Over here, nice look at Towline's robot mode. And of course on the back, you can see Towline and robot, in vehicle, and as parts and pieces. Towline comes with a great big old sheet of instructions. Again, if you know Scraphook and axle grease, you're not really going to need the instructions. So if you don't really know Towline, Towline's motto is basically no parking, anytime, right? Kind of a goofy doofy character that is obsessed with basically towing vehicles, whether they're regular cars, Autobots, Decepticons, doesn't matter, man. If it's a no parking zone, it's a no parking zone. Having a wrecker, so to speak, be used for Towline makes perfect sense, but this is definitely different. If you want to know what sort of a tow truck Towline kind of originally was, it's more of an industrial one. Like, it's a bit bigger, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like it's more like the sort of tow truck that was used as Onslaught in one of the live action movies, Age of Extinction maybe, Last Night maybe, that we never did get an actual version of. Nevertheless, the oranges for the windows, that's pretty accurate. The original had translucent orange windows. The green is pretty accurate. There should be an Autobot symbol on the hood. There should be some orange and I think blue or purple line detailing kind of on the side here, but that's fine. Then we have the lighter tealy sort of color over this tire and over the back tire. Again, that's about accurate. The purple wrecker hook, that's pretty accurate. Even if you wanted to say the silver detailing for those pipes is like the silver detailing of what I assume is supposed to be like fuel tanks or something on the original. If you showed me this and said, who is it? And I didn't know any better, I'd probably squint, turn my head on the side and ask if it's Towline because it's stylized. The colors are there, the mold, leaves a little something to be desired. I'm going to say overall though, as a tow line, it probably works out to be somewhere around a 7. Weirdly, the tires are purple on this one, so whatever. If you want your Transformer to have purple tires, get a tow line. 7, not the strongest start, but I will also note that tow line, being a Junkion, can go on other characters to look like this. Right, with the help of G2 Leadfoot here, I mean, you can put armor junk on him all over the place if you're so inclined. And skipping over the actual transformation, we come here. Let's give this guy some score. So I said that his look was probably around a 7. In this mode, I mean, again, the attempts are admirable. The lower legs should be reversed. Instead of the green on the lower leg, it should be on the thigh, and the kind of tealy color, bluey color that's on the thigh should be on the lower leg. So they should be reversed, but it is what it is. When we get to the hips, that being purple is about right, the hips and pelvis. When we get to the main torso, I think that what's up around the chest here for that light color should be the dark green as well. The Autobot symbol in the center is fine. The orange on the two sides, that's meant to mimic the windshield for sure. The green down the center, that's fine. The little teal on the sides here, that's fine. I just think around the window should have also been green. The head is actually a really nice head sculpt. The arms, the shoulders, upper arm being the green is correct. The elbow area, arguably the bicep, should be purple. The hinge is purple. The lower arm, that should be that tealy color. The fist, purple. I mean, they did as admirable of a job as they could with the mold. Like, I really actually do respect the attempt made, and I think it lends itself nicely. It's just, it is quite stylized, as it's obviously a Junkion. And this is obviously not the intended use for it. So I'm going to stick with a 7. When we get to the transformation, it's actually pretty smooth with this guy. I didn't have some of the issues with the elbows during the transformation that I had with Scraphook, or with Axle Grease for that matter, though Axle Grease wasn't as bad as Scraphook. The elbows on Scraphook love to come off. They will come off here, but not as easily and not as much. I'm going to say the transformation is about an 8.5. So right now, about a 7.75 or so. Let's get into the articulation. The head goes left and right. No real up and down. The arms, they can go all the way around. Both of them can do that. The arms can go all the way out to the side, elbow to 90 degrees, actually a little over 90 degrees. It's a double hinged elbow using the lower hinge. That'll get you your bicep swivel without it popping off and stuff. If you try to swivel the elbow from the upper hinge, you're probably going to pop it off. Very weird design, right? Lower, twist just fine. The hand, that also rotates. We have a waist that rotates all the way around, by the way. Getting these arms up here out of the way. Full splits to the side. All the way forward, all the way back, knee to 90 degrees, swivel really at the knee, feet forward and back, even a little more forward if you take these blasters out. And of course we have an ankle tilt in. Pretty much everything I could want. The guy was getting like a 7.75, but I'm going to say that the articulation for him is, I don't find the elbows popping off the same. I'm going to say it's a solid 9.5, honestly. Overall, the guy's about an 8.5. Like, it's a solid transformer. It's a great use of the mold. It's an acceptable tow line, but you have to be okay with it being a stylized tow line. If you're okay with that, he's a great get. If you're not okay with that, he might not be the tow line for you. And here we are, and here he is, and you know what? It's not bad. Like, it's a respectable attempt at an updated tow line. And I understand why we probably wouldn't have a whole new mold, though a lot of fans would like it. I still think that Hasbro is trying to test the waters. How popular are these characters? How well can they do? Well, you know what? You take someone who is fairly well known from the series, being Towline, and you, I think I got his legs on the wrong side, actually, and you put the right colors on a mold that, you know what, can pass, because at least it's a tow truck. I think you get something respectable. I don't know if I would worry too much about Towline having a whole new mold at this point. Plus, doing this for anyone who is a hardcore fan, if this does well enough, I bet you later on we'll get something a little more accurate again. As it is, this guy's pretty great. Plus, and I'll mention this now because it's going to be the topic of our next video, because he uses a Junkion mold, we're able to use him to help us exemplify and show off a version of the Junkion combiner, Junkosaurus. We'll look at that next time. This guy, you know, for the record, is going to be a... I'll spit this out in a second. This guy, for the record, is going to be a leg. If I had his legs on, by the way, incorrect at the end of the video when we had him in robot mode, I apologize. I just put them on. Doesn't really change anything. Doesn't change any of the scores. I think he's okay. I don't think he's perfect because he's stylized, but I think he's okay. And I'll say this, as far as this mold goes, he has the least issues of him, Scraphook, or axle grease. Make of that whatever you will. Let me know what you think about the Buzzworthy Bumblebee Towline. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course, hit the join button to become a channel member. While you are at it, please hit the subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us here on the channel, and especially remember that somehow, some way, each and every single day, you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here, inside the videos.